I actually got rejected the first time I interviewed with them. And they're like, hey, like, you're not the right fit for this role we're looking for. How I actually ended up getting the job is I visited SF once just to hang out with friends and check out the different things. And I didn't live here yet. I messaged the recruiter again. I was like, I know I got rejected, it's fine. I was like, I just want to visit the office. I just want to like see where the magic is made. And she's like, oh yeah, come by, we can give you a tour. And I go to the office and I end up basically doing interviews.
Wait, what?
And so I ended up doing these interviews. Part of me was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be talking to people, I should be prepared. So I had like full decks made. And so I brought these packages and I would give them to these people interviewing me. That's how I ended up like doing more interviews and getting the role, even though I got rejected the first time.
On today's show, we're talking with our good friend, Phil La. Of everyone I know, Phil is the best at fully embracing all the things he likes, especially those rooted in childhood.
In this episode, we get into how self-acceptance and self-knowledge are key to dating success. We acknowledge our scarcity mindsets and where they come up, and we share our anime origin stories.
Let's get into it.
I definitely like the if you know stuff the best though.
Yeah.
Because it's like very specific things that like people will get, and if they get it, they're like, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think for me the biggest stand, you have a shirt that's like a Pokemon shirt, and it like almost from afar looks like, you know, it's just a regular, like it's got some embroidery on it and like some logos, and then you zoom in and you're like, oh, they're Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
You get close to looking like
the original
every single
stitch shirts. Yeah, those ones are good. And they're like dress shirts and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have a tie, I think, as well that I maybe have seen.
Yeah, I have a Pikachu tie, also very subtle.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's very lazy if you just like print on like, you know, the character
show
or like a Pikachu or something, right? You're like, yeah, like a little bit unique, and then I'll get it.
That's true. Like this, if you think Full Metal Alchemist, this is not usually the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
When you think
be like
the
characters. Yeah, I have had a lot of time to watch more anime because like whenever I'm putting her to sleep, I'm just like anime.
I love that. Normal parents, Beethoven. Phil, anime. You get him started early.
Yeah. I'm going through Jojo finally. It's a bit of a grind.
Oh, no way.
I can't deal with Jojo, man.
No way.
It's actually like I realize it's a particular type of anime, and it's not like really shonen.
It's not
right?
really, no.
It's like, so I finished the second season.
Okay.
And it was a fucking grind because they like it's just like stand user, and like no one progresses though.
Yeah.
There's like they're just the same for the whole thing, and it's just like puzzles that they solve for every new enemy, and I'm just like, it's fun seeing them solve these puzzles, but I also want to see them, you know, grow, which they don't.
Yeah, it's not the same, man. I skip a lot when I watch JoJo. Yeah, with the right arrow key. Just skip 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah. I've tried 3 separate times to get into it because we have so many friends that love JoJo.
Yeah.
And like every single time.
I think that's why it's a particular type.
Yeah, it's like the lack of growth is like one thing. I think another thing is like, there's no character that I even remotely feel like I can relate to at all.
Yeah, they're pretty
like
random.
It's like much more like they're like kind of like a pantheon of gods that are just fighting in this way. But like even like, you know, the Roman gods were intended to be a little bit more like people.
Human,
whereas they're just like so outrageously caricatured that I just have no mechanism of engaging. It's just pure bizarreness.
It's a certain flavor.
Yeah,
bizarre
adventure.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It's pure memes. It's like memes with some, I don't know, some semblance. Okay, you know, like a lot of like Michael Bay movies are like basically like,
they have their thing, the explosions. Yeah,
it's like the story exists as an excuse so that you can have explosions. Like John Wick, like the story exists so that you can have egregious gunfights. Like JoJo is like, the story exists so you can have memes and vibes
and like ridiculous, bizarre things,
and like posing. You know, like they just have these moments, and like you're like, wow, and like they look cool. Yeah. There's moments where it looks visually cool, and the art style is weird. You're like, this story exists just to prop up all these moments.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts that I'm like, that was really creative. I'm like, I can appreciate that. But
and usually the last fight with the big bad is usually pretty interesting.
Pretty epic, yeah. And it's always like, one more thing, like they're not dead yet.
Yeah.
Like 8 times.
Exactly.
But I guess that's actually most animes.
It's true. I mean, this is, I think, one of the things we want to talk to you about. Like, maybe a good place to start is at the beginning. Is there an exciting incident for your weebiness?
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I didn't used to be like this hardcore about anime growing up.
Okay.
And I really liked it. So like first, like it was what we had in like North America, right? Dragon Ball, Pokemon, like all those classics.
Like just on TV.
And I was super into it. But I never got that into it. And I think it wasn't because I didn't like it a lot. It was just because it was like maybe not as mainstream or not as cool at that time. And then, and I was like, oh, well, I should do, whatever grown-up things as I grew up and college. And then like, even throughout that time, I would still watch anime and be like, this is awesome. And I'd still like keep at it. But like, at some point I realized I really like this and I should just like spend more time on it.
Right.
And then I just started watching a lot more and then
really
getting stuff and then realizing like, I really like this. I should just like embrace it. Right.
Whoa.
And then it was, and it was like after college. It was like, and this is like when I started getting adult money, right? So then and you have more freedom. And so you can actually like get these, memorabilia or collect things. And, and there was definitely, I think when I first started getting back into stuff, so even Pokemon, like I was like super into Pokemon as a kid. I remember because I used to go to Pokemon Trading Card Game League like every Tuesday.
Amazing.
And then in school, I made the soccer team, but it was on like games were on the same days as Pokemon League.
And you're like, I'm gonna go play Pokemon.
So then I had to quit the soccer team. And so I was super into it. But then like there's just this phase of like, oh, like I'm in high school now. I can't keep liking Pokemon. And so I like pushed it aside. And then when I grew up, I just like always still like secretly would like read the Wikipedia on all the new Pokemon or like, I was still like into it in the background, but I never like actively pursued it as like an interest. And then, and then like after college, I started getting into it again. And I was like, I should just like enjoy it. And it's okay to do these things I enjoy that aren't necessarily productive or aren't like, the things that I should be doing per se.
Wow. So, that's crazy. So your weebiness like was like post college.
Yeah, I would say.
Wild.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it was actually like a gradual rise. It was like high school came around. You're like, okay, maybe like I don't want this to be the way that I'm known. And then later on after college, you're like, you know what? I really like this. Was there like an inciting incident there, or was it just a slow, gradual thing of you like, maybe I'll buy one thing?
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll buy 3 things.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it started. And my other love is Power Rangers. So I would say like Power Rangers and Pokemon was like the consecutive like big things in my childhood, right? So there's Power Rangers and like obviously there's like a million toys and as a kid you can't get them all. And then after college they started coming out with this legacy line in Power Rangers. And they came out with the original Megazord. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I have money now. I should get this.
I have a job now?
Yeah. And then I got that Megazord. And then and then they came out with more stuff. And I was like, well, gotta get the collection now. And then that was kind of connected to like, oh, well, I really like this anime stuff too. Well, I'm going to get some of that. And like Pokemon cards and starting to complete some of the collections I didn't complete when I was a kid. And then that was the gradual, and even now it happens with like tons of collectibles I get. I'll get one and then you're like, okay, well, they came out with another one, I'll get that one too. And then eventually get the whole collection.
Wow. So do you think this is really like, I guess you now as empowered adult Phil, like living out child
basically
Phil's like dreams?
Basically. Yeah. I think, I mean, there's so many things you want to do as a kid, but you don't for like so many different reasons, right? And then you're like, oh, when I grow up, like I probably won't want to do these things anymore. But then I grew up and I still want to do all these things.
That's awesome.
And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do them. But yeah, I think there is a lot of pressure and like embarrassment that came with that, where I was afraid, first time I cosplayed, I was like super embarrassed about it. Or the first time I, would show people like collectibles or even other interests I had. Like, so I'm super into like 90s pop music. So like I love like boy bands like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, the works, right?
Yeah.
And I was always embarrassed to show that, even growing up as a kid. Like we'd have these show and tells in school where they'd be like, show your favorite band. And I'd be like afraid to show that part. I'd have to show something like Linkin Park, something like that was more cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, but then you realize like, as you grow up, when people find out about these things, at least as more mature people, they actually appreciate it. And so then that helped me realize like, oh, if you actually be yourself more, people actually appreciate that more than you like just kind of conforming. So it was like a process over time for sure. But I still feel that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
I think there's still things that, I might feel like I'll second guess, like if I should share this or I should show this about myself. And it's still like something I constantly think about. Yeah.
Is there a recent example?
I mean, so I'm starting this new job at Meta and we have to do these kind of intro posts for onboarding groups. And, I'm looking through all my photos and I have like tons of photos. I'm like, I don't know if I want to show myself cosplaying, but I have like all these other things that, lighter things. And there was this one photo. So I went to this office experience, which was like you get to go to all these different sets from The Office that they put together. And I don't know if you guys watched The Office before, but there's this one scene where Kevin brings a big vat of chili and he like spills it on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Super good episode. And they remake that. So you're like holding a vat of chili and it's spilling on the ground. I was like, oh, this photo is so good. And I was like, I would love to include it. But I feel like people might not get it. And they might just think like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I was like, again, I'm going to take it out. So I think like those moments where I'm still like really second guessing what I should say. And even in conversations with friends in general, like, am I interesting enough? Like, is someone interested in like these passions I have? And then I might pull back if like, I feel like, oh, maybe they're not.
Do you usually like throw out breadcrumbs?
I'll throw out feelers. Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys felt things that you did as a kid that you didn't do as much?
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
of reasons?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I want to quickly comment, like, I think work is a very interesting example. Yeah. Something that I've been realizing, like, I don't know, in the last, 5 years of working or whatever, is that like, I think when I first got into the workforce, I was very like gung-ho about like, you should be your full self at work. You should just bring everything, and then like I should be embraced and like loved and accepted for who I am. And then I realized that's actually not what, this is a little cynical, but I think I realized the hard way that that's actually not what showing up at work is about. At most companies. I think there are exceptions, but I think at most companies, it's like you're there to accomplish a set of tasks. And in my personal experience, which we can maybe get into, but in my personal experience, like being like my authentic self has not served me well. In a work context. So I understand that filtering process. Yeah. I've like been through there as well. Yeah. And all the moments where I've been like, I'll give it a shot, has like, it's like at best neutral in my experience. So
yeah, there's different contexts, I think, that you still need to work with. And you can't just like be your full self in every situation, right?
Exactly. Like, especially at work, like you're there for a purpose. Yeah. So I totally understand that. Like my new philosophy, which we'll see if and when I get back into the workforce. My new philosophy is that like I'm gonna more embrace that like I'm here to do a job, and then that is the persona I will embody. Even if that's only like 50% of who I am, that's totally fine. Yeah. They're getting what they're paying for. Yeah. And they're gonna have to, I guess, actively show me that they want to see the other 50% if I'm going to show that. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. I think, definitely very similar to you. I think growing up, like, I feel like anime is cool now. Yeah. Like it's on Netflix. It's like more mainstream. People talk about it. But growing up, definitely, it was like, even like I grew up in an area that's like predominantly Asian people. Yeah. And I definitely had probably more friends growing up that were also into anime. But still, we were by far not the majority. And I think that the default response is that anime is not cool. And I definitely remember having moments like in, I don't know, 7th grade or whatever, you're like talking about it. And like, this is the classic, like, you know, guys and girls are just starting to become friends. And I definitely had moments of just like showing the weebiness a little bit and the response being like, ew.
Kids can be cruel.
Yeah. So I think I was a closeted weeb for a very long time.
Yeah.
Very long time. Like, yeah, I was huge into it, like throughout like my adolescent years. I think I discovered it similar to you, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh on TV. Yeah. And then at some point I was like, wait a minute, I really like this show. And I really like this show. And there's something about the visual style that's very similar. I don't know what it is.
I can't pinpoint it,
But there's something about it. And then eventually I like learned that there was a term. I was like, oh, it's called anime. Oh my goodness. That was a big moment for me. Yeah, that was a big moment for me. And then I also remember the first moment I discovered the manga section at like Chapters Indigo, like the bookstore. Just perusing, you know, kids section, all of a sudden you go to the other side and there's like comics and then you're like, okay, whatever, and then manga. And I just remember like I tore through the entire thing. Like I just like sampled like I like briefly sampled like basically every manga, and then I would write down the ones that seemed, the names of the manga that seemed remotely interesting. Yeah. And I'd walk away with this like notepad, like a physical notepad, because you know, I didn't have a phone back then. I was like 8. Yep. Yeah, I walked away with like a list of titles. I don't know what I did with that, but yeah, I kind of had that growing up, and then like high school was deep into it. Yeah, so deep into it. This was like when I discovered Naruto and like Bleach, and was like going deep into the, you know, like a little more actiony, like a little bit, tiny bit more edgy than like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, and I was. Basically was like that through college as well. Parents also told me growing up, like, oh, you will grow out of watching cartoons. Yeah. Just, you know, give it time. I have yet to grow out of watching cartoons. Same. Yeah. So that was kind of my arc with it. Eventually, honestly, only about 2 or 3 years ago, I accepted that I'm pretty weeby. Yeah. I always thought, because like I don't...
And then it feels good.
Yeah, it's good to own that part of my identity. But it's weird like growing up with something and you don't really, because you're in it, you don't really think about it that way. Yeah. Because it's almost like a external evaluation thing where it's like, oh, you, like here's a label. Yeah. So I never really thought about it much until, I started talking to more people like, yo, what do you watch? And then over and over again, I would have recommendations. I would have seen more than them. My like seasonal consumption rate is like way bigger. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably a sign. Yeah. Because I never got into the collectibles or the dressing up. And that was, to me, that was like the hallmark of a true weeb. You know, like I've only been to one convention. Yeah. So I was kind of like, I'm like, I like it, but I'm not that into it.
Yeah. It's like, levels.
Maybe I am into it. But yeah. I don't know. What's your relationship with anime been like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had the same like kind of entry point as a kid. I think I was never that big into Pokemon the show, but I loved Digimon Adventure, like the OG first 2 seasons of Digimon. Okay, so good. Like my sister would.
It had a real story, to be fair.
Yes. You like the card swiping? That was like season 3.
No. I mean, once people started turning into Digimon, I'd be like, I don't know. This isn't like, because I like the friendship dynamic between you know.
It's always the OG,
yeah. So I remember it used to be airing like before I got home. Yeah. And then one of my sisters would get home before me and she would record it on VHS.
Oh, yo, that's clutch. Siblings.
Yeah. So I would watch it off the VHS recordings that she made for me.
Wow.
Which was great. And then I feel like similarly in high school, I got like access through the Canadian channel YTV when they started airing anime that was like, felt like a little bit edgy, felt like a little bit more complex themes. Yeah. It was like Inuyasha. I feel like Inuyasha was like
Seed.
I never got into the Gundam Seed, but I remember like one show that definitely was like, this is a different kind of thing, was Witch Hunter Robin.
Oh, yeah.
I never watched that.
It's dark.
I forgot about that.
It's so dark.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I like this. like this is weird.
Probably the people that put it on TV didn't realize, like, because they're like, it's a cartoon. It's probably not that dark.
Yeah,
it's when you
dark.
go from the G-rated to the 14A.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. And then I think there was like another step along the way where I think like two things happened roughly around the same time. One of them is that we got the Netflix subscription, but like the OG Netflix subscription where they mailed you DVDs.
Wow, you were early.
Yeah. It was like really early in. My dad was like an early adopter for this kind of stuff.
I love that.
And I remember, what was I watching? I was watching Kenshin.
Whoa.
Yeah, I feel like
so good.
in this era, I was still watching dubs. I had not learned the way.
That's fine. No judgment.
But yeah, I started to get into things that felt like a little bit more niche. And then I remember I think the first series where I'm like, holy crap, this is good, was Fullmetal Alchemist, the original one. This is like before Brotherhood came out.
Okay.
And I was like, my God, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I totally immersed in the world. Like, really started to see like the depth of these characters.
You started walking around clapping. I fucking did that.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I think around that time, I was also like one of my my first like, I guess, serious high school girlfriend was like also really into anime, and that was like that was like a connecting thing.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, like, I do like anime, and I would just watch it on my own. But I think really for me, it is like a medium of connection with friends. That it's all the shows that I watch with friends that like I get really like hooked into.
Yeah.
There's just something about like watching together, and then like as things are going off the rails, just looking at you and being like, what is happening? And like,
you just see that?
Yeah.
Did that just happen?
Like,
wait, is he dead?
Exactly. And that just being like a really like heartwarming kind of bonding experience with friends. Yeah. So like I like really strongly associate certain shows with specific people.
Okay.
And that has been like the much more persistent thing. I think that how much of an element it's been in my life really has like ebbed and flowed a lot. Honestly, just depending on like who I'm spending time with and like what else is going on in my life. And so for instance, like the house that I live in right now, like no one really watches anime. So I know. So like it really like took a huge dip. But when I've lived with friends that like watch anime, it would be like a regular occurrence. We would like watch together. Like with two of my friends, like we went through the arc of watching the anime for Promised Neverland. Yeah. Which is like the
journey.
It's one of the best first seasons I've ever seen, and one of the worst endings I have ever seen. Yes. We were like, as it all ended, we all was looking at each other, being like, "What?
Those are the moments you want."
Like, did they really just end this series with a slideshow? Like, what the heck happened here?
That's so funny.
So there's just like, I don't know. There's something about it that's like this very visceral connection thing. Yeah. And it's things where like I think from like a like. If I was selecting hobbies from like, all right, this is like going to help me elevate my status in the world, like I would not choose anime. And the other thing that's kind of like this for me is I would not choose like dance in the way that I do it.
Because really,
yeah, I mean, it's like, whenever I go, like definitely as I've stayed in that community, my peer group just like keeps getting a little bit younger over time. And like there is something there where like I'll show up to classes and there'll be a lot of people there that are way younger than me.
Okay.
And I think there is like some perception where I tell people about this, and occasionally people be like, "How old are you again?" Or like, not exactly in those words, but there is like a little bit of like, I don't know. I do feel a little bit of like tension there and a little bit of like worry of judgment there. I think if I was like really good, I probably wouldn't feel that as much, but it's like a thing that I clearly do because I really enjoy it, not because it's like I am very good at this and this is like a performance craft for me. It's like mostly about goofing out with friends with me.
This is like freestyling broadly?
Yeah. I don't know, like it's I think part of it is actually not explicit judgment from people that are like around my age or older. So some of it is actually like from going to classes and then like hanging out with some people afterwards. And at some point I'll bring up my age and they're like, "Oh, I thought you were like 24. And I was like, no, I'm a little older than that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely do feel like some kind of degree of embarrassment around it sometimes. But I think with both of these things, it really is like when I'm with people around my age in those communities, it's just great.
Yeah.
Like when I like hang out with like anime people, weebs, we're always watching together, and it's like, you know, there's just like so much energy behind it that it's great.
Yeah.
And similarly for dance, like when I'm freestyling with a bunch of friends, and that just like really understand and like viscerally enjoy the craft of it, and viscerally enjoy just like the reactions you get out of people, then it's great. But both those things, it's like, I feel like if someone doesn't get it, it's like hard for me to explain what is happening at all.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like for anime, whenever anyone's like, oh, I've never really watched it, and I can see that they're like a little hesitant because there's like a lot of like, you know, connotations about what that means. I'm always like, okay, I'm going to choose a starter anime for you. For instance, like, you know, if someone's like first encounter with anime is like Food Wars or like or like Jojo, they're like, what is this? Like, it's like, no, you gotta like understand the broader meta of what is happening here.
Yeah,
because a lot of anime like is kind of cultural in jokes, and you have to kind of like get what is going on to appreciate that as like kind of making fun of itself, rather than like it's usually pretty self-aware.
Yeah.
But it's not obvious that that's the case if you like enter in there.
Yeah. I think Attack on Titan has been the best entry anime.
You think so?
Yeah.
I love that.
Because it like hooks you in first episode.
Really fast.
And it's like pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like in terms of conflict wise. And there isn't as much of that like, you know, if you know type humor. And
that's right.
It's like
it's not fan service heavy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Helps a lot.
Yeah.
The
fan service just can distract people.
Yeah.
The Food Wars was so good.
They chilled out after the first season. a little bit. It's still pretty egregious.
Yeah. But I think that is one of the big reasons to like, number one, obviously figure out like what you're actually passionate about. I think that's like difficult in general because I think there's things that I've thought are cool, but when I do it, I actually don't like it that much per se. So it's like I actually tried dance classes before. Yeah. But I don't like doing choreographed dancing. But I started like practicing shuffling, and I like doing that. I like learning like one move, and then like being able to use it, and then learn another move, and then be able to But like learning a whole choreographed dance is like not my thing. But I love like watching choreographed dance, and so I think there was part of me that I kept trying to go to these classes and tricking myself into being like, oh, I think like I like this, right? But like I didn't actually, and eventually you just kind of fall off because you lose gas because you don't actually enjoy it, right? Yeah. And I think figuring that out is like hard, and then once you do, then it's like being able to express it, and then it really helps you build connection with others, which I think is a big reason why I've further leaned into it, because you will filter out people that aren't interested or don't share similar interests or don't have similar vibes, but you also are then able to find the people that you really do get along with or can vibe with. And I actually have had opposite experience of you with work where I express myself pretty authentically, and it has helped me build stronger connections at work at a personal level. So even at one of my previous jobs in Toronto, this company called Figure One, like I had, I feel like I was pretty into Taylor Swift before she was this big. So like I went to like the 1989 concert. I went to like, and so I was pretty into Taylor Swift. Actually like her old stuff more than her new stuff. But there was another coworker that like was also super into Taylor Swift while I was working there way back in 2017, 2016. And yeah, we just built this connection around Taylor Swift. And I feel like our relationship became much more personal in that way and not just about like work. And so, and then even at my other jobs, well, I ended up working at Pokemon Go. That's a whole other thing of how my passions drove not just my personal life, but my career.
That's true. We should talk about that, because that's how you got that job was
and I feel, and the thing is, that job only came about because I leaned so hard into it, right?
Right.
And so I was playing Pokemon Go, and then I saw they had roles open. I was like, I should try to work here. And I got a friend who was a VC that invested in Niantic to introduce me and refer me. And I actually got rejected the first time I interviewed with them. And they're like, hey, like, you're not the right fit for this role we're looking for. And how I actually ended up getting the job is I visited SF once just to hang out with friends and just, check out the different things. And I didn't live here yet. So it was like doing touristy things, like going to Alcatraz, whatever. And one of the things was like, I messaged the recruiter again. I was like, I know I got rejected, it's fine. I was like, I just want to visit the office. I just want to like see where the magic is made. And she's like, oh yeah, come by, you can give you a tour. And I go to the office and I end up basically doing interviews. And
wait, what? So the recruiter just like, by the way,
she's like, I set you up some meetings as well to chat with people.
Lloyd, that's amazing.
And so I ended up doing these interviews, and part of me was like, okay, well, if I'm going to be talking to people, I should be prepared. So I had like full decks made, like packages of like, here's how I would grow Pokemon Go. Here's how I would do it. So it's like all passion driven, right? And like I wouldn't do this if I didn't like it as a thing. And so I brought these packages and I would give them to these the people interviewing me, and that's how I ended up like doing more interviews and getting the role, even though I got rejected the first time.
Wow, dude.
So
I didn't know about the recruiter just being like, we're gonna imposter him into some interviews.
Yeah, but it's just because I showed up. I literally just came to the office, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened.
It's like a crazy version of the whole like, ask for money, get advice.
Yeah.
Ask for advice, get money.
Yeah.
It's like, how I see the office. Do you want an interview?
Yeah, a lot of times you just gotta show up. I had a friend recently that was like looking for jobs, and he literally he's from Toronto. He just came to the Bay Area and started dropping off resumes like at receptions. Like, and
it's probably very novel.
He was able to get a job.
It's like the digital age, that used to be how it worked. But now that's not the norm. It's probably very impressive. Like, whoa, dedication.
Right.
And effort.
Yeah. The annoying thing though is once I got into gaming at Pokemon Go and I started working in gaming and then working in other gaming companies, I realized that I should have played more games as a kid, but I didn't. So like
way cooler than anime.
So there was this thing growing up, and I don't know if you guys had it, where I always felt like I need to be productive, and that just like that feeling grew over time. It's like, like
games are not
productive. I can't be playing games. Like I gotta like be reading and learning and whatever, doing productive things, because games aren't productive. And so I stopped playing games as much growing up because of that. And then when I worked in games, I was like, I should have played games more, because it's so helpful to like know all the designs and like know different end games and all these different things when you're working in gaming. And so in that case, I was like, I should have leaned more into those interests and passions.
You were lied
to. Because it would have been helpful.
Yeah.
But I think that's where I realized just you got to figure out those things and then really lean into them, because it helps with meeting people. It helps with your career and like and just experiences, right? So like I think I ended up I've gone to like New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, which are two of the biggest. I like a few months ago I went to the Digimon movie alone.
Wow.
And it was awesome. And it's just like these experiences that I wouldn't have if I wasn't clear with myself around like my passions, my interests, and knowing like I just enjoy it, and so it's okay for me to just embrace it.
Right. That's really cool.
Yeah, they gave me Digimon cards and everything. I messaged in the anime group, but everyone was busy, so
it's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's
wild.
I think doing things alone was something that I was more okay with. Also knowing that this is just like something I like doing.
You're right. You're just doing you, and that's totally cool.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I'm also curious about is like, you are now a married man and a father, but at some point you were also dating. And how hard did you lean into? Because I feel like you're very passionate about what you like, right? I'm curious, like, how did that manifest for you when you're like dating around? Like, did you slow roll it? Were you like very upfront, just like, hey, something you got to know about me?
Yeah. I mean, so you guys know I before I met Jamie, my wife, I dated a lot. It was like over 150 people, and so I definitely built up like kind of how I wanted to date. And yeah, I think having a certain profile, obviously on the dating apps and stuff, will self-select for certain types of people.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't necessarily looking for people who like I love anime and gaming and all this stuff, and I think that was part of my identity, but it wasn't like, you know, I'm into a lot of other things too. Like, you know, I want people who are introspective about mental health or about wellness, all these different things too. And so you kind of want to still balance around that. And I think as I was dating, like more of it would be revealed over time to people. And I don't know, if they're okay with it, they're okay. If they weren't, then yeah, we probably wouldn't, you know, that's why we're not together probably.
Wow. Wait, you think like you had experiences where like they were like not okay? Like
I don't know if it was ever a deal breaker.
Okay.
But I think there were definitely people that, you know, might come by my place and they'll see like a bunch of posters and be like,
classic meme. right. They're like all the collectibles on the side.
Yeah. So I don't know, probably colored their opinions in some ways if they had certain biases.
Right.
But I think part of having to date so much is the first thing, like before you can even date that much, is you need to be very secure with who you are, right? Or else it's going to be like, it's a grind anyway. But if you feel like there's something wrong with you, or every time you get rejected, or every time things don't work out, then you're just going to feel really bad all the time. And so you have to be super secure with yourself before you start dating that much, I think. And be okay with, you know, just there's people that aren't a fit, essentially. And so you just got to be yourself and know who you are and what you want, and not settle for less yourself. And also people shouldn't settle for less either. And so it's just about finding the right fit. And so, yeah. And then now that I can express who I am more genuinely, I can find the right person more easily.
Right. Sounds like it wasn't like you didn't need your partner to be a huge weeb.
Yeah.
It was,
no.
It sounded like it would be like a nice to have,
yeah.
But it was like, as long as, you know, they accept this part of me.
Yeah.
And
that's the interesting part too. Jingy and I have very different interests. So she's like way more cultured than me in some ways. So I'm like superheroes, like anime, like games. And she's like art history, philosophy, like all these things that, you know, I'll go with her to art museums and I'll be like, all right.
I love that.
I don't know, I've seen some pretty cool anime art too. Yeah, I think for relationships, it's more about values. And obviously you got to have that value that, you know, you are willing to explore each other's interests as well. And Jingy's been super good with that. She's like gone with me to conventions and cosplayed with me and everything, even though she wasn't into it at all. And so that's been very nice. And I wouldn't say that's a requirement, but it is nice for sure.
Damn, Jingy has that very mindful, very demure energy.
Yeah.
Like in a holistic way, you know, not just her interests, but also your interests.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
so you're talking about earlier about how you think it's really important for people to be like really secure in their identity going into dating. When you started this like 150 dating saga, were you already kind of at that point when you started?
I was probably not completely, but definitely closer to that. I think through my earlier dating experiences in like college. So I had one very long girlfriend at the end of college for like three to 4 years, I think. And then a couple others throughout. And I think one thing I realized through that was just what I liked and what I didn't like. And there's so many things you realize that you like or don't like that you did not know about yourself, right? And so you just got to go through the experiences and figure those out. And basically figure out who you are as well and who you want to be. And I feel like by the time I was dating aggressively at this point in, you know, those 3-4 year period, I had a relatively good idea of who I was. And so I was more secure in myself, so I could handle, you know, the ups and downs of dating a bit better. But it definitely took time and to get to that spot where I could say like, hey, if it doesn't work out, we're just not a fit. right?
As opposed to there's something wrong with
As opposed to there's something wrong with me, which is, I think, was my default reaction earlier on.
Right.
Once you get there, then it gets much easier, I think.
Wow. Because then, I guess it's truly at that point about finding someone, not about trying to fix infinite things about yourself.
And I don't think that feeling still goes. Like, I still felt it throughout, but I would be able to manage it better. It's all like, none of these things ever go away, essentially. It's just like, you're able to manage it better.
What do you think helped you kind of shift in that direction over time of recognizing like that gap between there's something wrong with me and this just isn't a fit? I think is like a very critical thing that makes dating feel way more sustainable, avoids like these crazy spirals afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, what about the process of dating for you was actually helpful in moving you in that direction?
I don't know. The realization came, I like distinctly remember thinking this after I got rejected by someone I liked, earlier in my 20s. And then I've kind of carried this philosophy, but I mean, I don't know exactly where it comes from a lot of different talks. I don't know, like reading online, all these different things that just molded this into me eventually. And then, so all of these, I find there's all these learnings and things that people say that make sense, but it's one thing to hear it and it's another thing to embody it, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's certain things that once I learn it, it takes me time to like absorb it. And then over the years, I get better and better at it. And eventually it becomes actually a part of me.
Right.
And I think another thing that comes to mind that this happened with is just like loss in general. And so I remember very distinctly in high school, I lost like my wallet and like a very expensive watch or something. And I went through this, like, I was just like so distraught, right? Crying or whatever. And I started realizing like, okay, you lose things and then, you move on and, life goes on and it's okay, you'll get more stuff. And then over time, I've embodied that more and more. And so now if I lose something, it's still like hard, but I get over it much faster than, I used to, or, other people might if they are really like, more in the mindset of, just I lost it, like this is the worst thing ever. And I'm able to shift back and bounce back much quicker, I find. And so it's just slowly embodying different learnings over time.
Wow. It's a scarcity mindset, plentiful mindset thing.
Yeah. And I actually also have very much scarcity mindset, which is limiting as well, that I need to work on all the time. Yeah.
Where does that show up in your life at the moment?
I mean, just work. I think that's the biggest part where I'm like, every job I've been in, I've done fine. But during my whole time in these jobs, I'm like, I'm going to get fired. And then I'm like, not going to be able to find another job. And so I need to do everything I can to work as hard as I can to make sure I like earn my worth. And so, and that makes you, I think, obviously you can end up working too much. You have a bad relationship with work. You're like stressed all the time. And so it takes me a lot of effort to try to rebalance that as well, and to be mindful of that. And Jingy's actually really helpful with that because Jingy's like the opposite. And she has like very abundance mindset. And so whenever my scarcity mindset comes through, she'll help kind of me balance it. Because I'll like, and especially with social media now, right? Like you see like, and being in Silicon Valley, you see like so many people doing crazy things and like, oh, should I be doing that? Should I be taking this course now? Oh, like I'm going to fall behind because there's new AI stuff. I have to learn everything about AI now. And you're just like, you end up always being in the stress state. Whereas figuring out like being okay with what you have, being secure and like, hey, like I've had some success in life and I think I'll do okay overall. And so having that confidence that you'll be able to figure things out is still something I'm working on right now. And so that I don't always have these feelings of like existential crisis over anything work related.
Yeah, it sounds like actually very similar journeys.
Yeah.
Like to you getting to that place of security in the dating world.
Yeah.
It sounds like almost like a parallel journey for career stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think there's transferable learnings there for like how you got there on the dating side?
I think so. I mean, I think it is. I mean, work and dating is a bit different. So dating was, I think, a bit easier in some ways because it's less existential to me. It was like, one thing that I went in with dating too was like, okay, first of all, I'm not going to settle.
Okay.
I'd rather be like single forever than settle for someone that isn't a good match.
Love that.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that was also something I tried to remind myself all the time so that, I didn't fall into this like, oh, I have to find someone and
like you took the pressure off
and rush myself into anything, right? But work is like, well, now I have a family and I have things I need to support.
There's literal pressure.
Exactly. And so that's where I think it's a bit harder to just be confident that, okay, whatever happens. And like, so at a rational level, I do think whatever happens will be fine. Like Jane and I are like,
you'll figure it out.
We have enough skills, we have enough savings, whatever,
right.
To be secure in our lives. So I don't need to be this stressed and kind of at the level of scarcity, but at an emotional level, it's much worse. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's just like aligning those a bit better.
Right. Like emotionally, like rationally you get it, but emotionally you're
exactly.
Like, wait a minute. Even if the chances are very low, the cost of failure is like it's insurmountable.
Exactly.
Basically. So you kind of
and I'll get triggered by a lot of things, right? And so even like more recently, we've had to spend a lot. We bought a second car. We are looking to get a heat pump and like all these things.
Right.
And as we spend a lot, I will get triggered. I'll be like, oh, like, are we spending too much right now? But like, if you look at all the finances and you look at everything,
very fine.
It's actually probably fine,
right.
Like for the most part. And so, but I'll get triggered and then it'll create conflict between like Jingyi and I and create, problems in our lives. So it's definitely something I'm still working on.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
One thing that I'm curious about just from lots of conversations with Kevin.
Yeah.
So whenever I watch a ton of anime, I'm always just like, this is great entertainment.
Yeah.
And then I'll discuss it with Kevin afterwards. And he'll like pull out these, to me, wild philosophical findings from that and like use those as actual lessons to guide life.
Dude, anime's life. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So like, I'm wondering if you've had a similar experience where there's things where you're watching something and part of you's like, this is great. Part of you's like, that's a good point. Like when some character
I think definitely I've had those moments.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like explicitly like keep them with me, so I don't know like specific lines or anything, but yeah, I think like just that the energy is more like they have like can-do energy.
Right.
They like, care about their friends a lot. And, like they find ways to figure things out. Like if there's a will, there's a way. So I definitely carry that energy into my life sometimes. Like even in my home gym workout, there's literally a massive Naruto cutout there. And it's like,
love it.
Can do it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Does any specific anime reference come to mind for you about like scarcity versus abundance mindset?
Scarcity and abundance. Not scarcity and abundance specifically.
Okay.
I think, I guess I haven't watched enough anime that tackle
those complex issues.
The challenges of being poor and an immigrant, I guess. I guess there's not that many animes about immigrants specifically. But
do you guys feel like you have scarcity or abundance mindsets in general?
I was raised with scarcity. I was
raised full on scarcity.
Things were scarce.
I mean, exactly, right? Yeah, and these things all come like I have scarcity, but like my parents are like completely different level, right?
Yeah.
So I'm already a lot better, and like you probably are too.
I mean, it's a whole other journey for me. But even buying myself a desk. I was like, I'll just make this out of 3 FedEx boxes. It's just
that. It was great.
Functionally just a thing that holds up my laptop.
Yeah.
I don't need to buy a desk. I'll just make one out of free cardboard.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's the only logical
conclusion. Would you spend money on yourself? Isn't it egregious? So that's where I started the journey. I definitely grew up with deep scarcity. Yeah.
I think that I did not grow up with the same level of like scarcity mindset, but I definitely have gone through a couple of like
significant changes in how willing to spend money I am. Some of that was just like I came out of college and then got like relatively high paying job, but I was still operating at thinking about my bank account the way it was when I like graduated.
Yeah.
So I think that like one way of living life is you have like take care of you keep track of your income, and then you'd be like, I'm going to spend a certain percentage of it.
Yeah.
And that's just like not what I was doing. Instead, my income like kept rising and my spending was just staying flat for a long time. And at some point, because of that, there was like this huge gap of like what I could get away with indefinitely, definitely sustainable. And then I just like went through this period where I'm like, and then I just like doubled everything, which felt really scary and weird. But I'm like, I'm gonna go shopping for clothes, which is like just a thing that I would like never have done before.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm gonna get like a nicer apartment for myself, and there's also like not a thing that I would have considered doing before. So it was like it was like intentional steps. I don't think that I felt as strong, like a visceral like I can't do this thing. I think both my parents definitely grew up in scarcity mindsets.
Yeah.
But I think that by the time like I was born, our house was already like pretty stable. Like we were squarely kind of middle class in Canada.
Yeah.
So I don't think that like I carried that. Like whenever there's something where I think if I told my parents that I was spending, they'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I do occasionally notice these like small gaps.
Yeah.
Like one of the clearest examples of this kind of gap was I was like home with my parents and being like, I want to watch a movie. And my dad was like, trying to shuffle through all these like sketchy websites to like try to get it hooked up to the TV, and it was like really not working. and I'm just like, I'm just gonna buy this movie. It's $3 on YouTube. And he's like, you're gonna buy it?
Yeah. Crazy talk.
Insane.
Like, we're at
concept.
home.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess we have like diverged here a little bit. Because similarly, I used to be like, I'm not gonna pay for any of these streaming services.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I've swung a little too far now. I need to dial it back. So it's like it's gonna
Calm
be
down there, bud.
I think I
Sounds a balance.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But I don't know. Like, I think there's some places where it just like doesn't really serve. It's like a really clear example of this that I still feel a little weird about is like paying significant amounts of money for parking.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that it's one of those things that it's like the thing that's happening in my head is clearly not like a rational economic calculation of like, my time is worth this amount of time.
Right.
It's just like, it just feels bad.
Yep.
So like this morning when we found a parking spot and we expected it to be like basically free because it's the weekend. And then it said like, okay, for the day, it's going to be like $60. And I'm like, that's so expensive for parking. Are you kidding me?
Same reaction.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just like
It's a lot for
it seemed
parking.
like a lot. And so like yesterday we parked in a place nearby that I thought was gonna be free all the way, but I got ticketed. And then today I was like, oh man, like the ticket was like $110. And I'm like, do I think there's like a greater than 50% chance I'm gonna get like ticketed on this thing? So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want either of these things. I'm gonna go try to find cheaper parking. And then I drove around downtown for like half an hour.
Yeah.
And I just didn't find a place. So I ended up going basically back to the same parking situation. So now I spent half an hour, have a slightly worse parking spot, and I'm still spending the same amount of money. Whereas I feel like, and even then, like when I parked, I initially be like, okay, I'm gonna just pay for 2 hours, and then I'm gonna go out and repark the car. And like this is like a really busy day.
Yeah.
So like, it's just like something about that whole process. I think that like I spend money on way dumber things.
Yeah.
Definitely like I feel like this is not the place to kind of eke out those savings. Mm-hmm. I still feel a little conflicted about it, but it just is. It's much more like when I think something is going to be free, and I spend $60, it just feels really bad.
It's all expectations.
Yeah, but that's like not actually like a relevant part of my overall budget. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
So that's like one place where I think that I'm still in kind of like a weird psychological place that I still don't know like quite how to manage it. Because I do think it's like not right to be like, I'm going to completely ignore prices for everything. That's also not a good way to go about life.
Yeah.
But I think that just like thinking about like, okay, is this actually a problem for me? Like if I do this forever indefinitely, is it going to be a problem? The answer is no. Just like, it's okay. Just do it. It's fine. And then think about the downside risk. Like, we started recording like 20 minutes late because I was trying to find a parking spot.
Yep.
That's like really, really dumb use of time. So it still cropped up in like interesting weird ways, but it's definitely not the same kind of like childhood rooted like food insecurity kind of scarcity mindset.
Yeah. I think becoming aware of these moments is just like, how you manage it, right? Is like, okay, this time I've been super worried about this parking thing. Like next time, how should I think about it? And then you shift a little bit over time. Because I think the scarcity can drive a lot. I think it drove a lot of my like bigger decisions when I was younger. And now it's like slightly better. But
what are some of the bigger decisions that are coming to mind?
Like what college program I went to.
Oh.
Because I went into chemical engineering.
Right, I keep forgetting that.
And it was purely a decision based on like getting a stable job, essentially, right. And like not out of passion. And actually, it was crazy because everyone in chemical engineering, no one was actually passionate about it. I felt like I didn't meet a single person in chemical engineering. Everyone was just like, yeah, it's like a pretty good job probably, and pretty stable.
Was the goal oil and gas?
Yeah, or like pharmaceuticals or food processing. So there's like things that need chemical engineers, right?
Right.
And so, but no one was particularly like excited about it. And so, I think that was very much driven by this like scarcity of let's find something stable. Right. I was like, just okay. But, over time I grew out of that. And it actually came from a lot of these like student conferences and stuff back in college, where it like opened my eyes to like the world possibilities. Because I went to one called National Business and Technology Conference that I ended up running as well later because I liked it so much. But they're like, you'd hear people talk and you'd hear about, they studied this and then they went in to do this and they changed their careers like a couple of times. Like, people can do that? Like, that's crazy talk. And so like I ended up finishing my degree, but my fifth co-op was I went to Microsoft and like did marketing, and then I like went to Facebook, and then I ended up going to Facebook full time. And so it just like opened my eyes to, okay, first of all, if you fail, it's not the end of the world, and so you should try to fail. And a lot of them emphasize like do it when you're younger, right? Because obviously in my state now it's much harder because I have a kid and all this stuff. And so that made me take more risk as a kid, like hearing these things at these events, at these conferences. Or else maybe I'd still be a chemical engineer right now and probably wouldn't be enjoying it much. But I think the scarcity can definitely drive decisions if you're not aware of it.
That checks out. It seems especially like poignant for you as someone who's like so passion driven.
Yeah. And it's so I ended up changing careers multiple times.
I think the average is like the stats like 5 or 7, right? Like the average person changes like
careers or
I don't know.
Yeah,
career sounds like that's high.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe it though.
And I think it's just hard when you have that scarcity mindset to do that. So I think a lot of people might not. But I was kind of had the scarcity, but also was like very like interest and passion driven. So it's like very hard for me to work on things that I don't really like doing. And so I was in like sales initially, right? And like selling ads at Facebook. And I was like, I just hated sales because I hated talking to people all day. Like on more on the introverted side. And then I went into marketing, which was more fun. But then I just kept hitting walls. I'm like, okay, well, I can't market this product if it's not good. And so
guess I got to make it better now.
And so I ended up in product.
Right.
And then it was just like, okay, now I really enjoy this. And so you just got to iterate and be okay with iteration because I would take pay cuts throughout when I switched every time. Because then I have to drop back down.
Damn.
So... But it's worth it once you figure out those things that you like.
So beyond the kind of scarcity mindset of, oh man, like if I don't succeed here, like my income's going to fall, I'm going to be like in trouble. Another one of the barriers I can imagine for a lot of people, like I'm scared diving into new domains because I'm like, I don't want to be a complete beginner again. That scary one. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not like a new grad anymore. Like people look at me and kind of expect me to already know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So as you've made those transitions, how have you managed that? How have you emotionally managed the process of being a total beginner in a domain again?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's ways to transition to bring some of those transferable skills over, depending on what you're doing, right? If you're going from, I don't know, sales to engineering, it's obviously a much bigger gap. But for me, there were transferable skills, like from sales to marketing. I was selling things to marketers, so I had some idea of those things.
Nice.
Even though I had to learn a lot of it from scratch still. So there are like some depending on what type of career switch you're doing, I think there's always some transferable skills you can bring over that actually give you a bit of an advantage.
Right.
And so
Not true zero.
Yeah. So with marketing, when I switched from marketing to product, I was like, I know marketing, so I can do growth things. And so I ended up being a growth PM for a lot of it before I started doing more core PM work as well, and other things. So it's like figuring out if there's any of that. But if not, I think it is also thinking about a big line that I used a lot as I was doing this is like, do I want to be doing this for the rest of my life? And like when I was at Facebook, I'd be like, okay, I'm doing sales. Like, I can do it. But do I want to be doing this for the rest of my life? And it's like, no. So the only choice is to switch to me at that point. And so it makes the decision easier emotionally because it's just, less of a choice. It's like more of like, I just have to do it.
Right. That's a really good way of framing the opportunity cost. Because that is kind of generally happens if you don't make any changes, right? Generally, you just keep going.
Yeah. And you'll probably do okay, but it's just like, is that what you want in your life, right?
Wow.
So it worked out, thankfully. I think it generally does for people though. Like, it's non-linear, right? So it goes up and down, but eventually I think most people can get there if they keep hacking at it.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. I think we're getting there on time. So cool. I think we want to wrap up soon. But one thing I want to close on is you mentioned pretty early on that like growing up as a kid for you was Power Rangers and Pokemon.
Yeah.
What is it about Power Rangers and Pokemon that like,
I mean, Power Rangers is just, they're like normal people that can get superpowers and look cool.
Like, that's all I want.
and fight for justice. Like, I love justice. And then Pokemon was, just the creatures collecting. I actually never thought of like the deeper reasons why. It's just like, this is so cool. Like, I want every single one of these Pokemon because they give you powers essentially.
Interesting. It's almost like having like, I guess, cute friends.
Yeah, but like really cute friends.
Right. Yeah. Which is interesting, right? Because like there's some people, it's like all about the battles. It's battling and like, min-maxing Pokemon games and all that stuff.
No, I've never been like hardcore.
Right.
It's more about the
cute companion.
Feel, the journey.
Right. And they all have kind of distinct personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, different powers.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like as like in like the millennials generations, there's a lot of people that like Power Rangers was the biggest thing for a while, and then Pokemon was, and I feel like a lot of people are in both of those fandoms.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you meet a lot of people and you go to cons and stuff?
Yeah,
like, actually there's a lot of overlap.
They're like, a lot of overlap between those two because they were kind of consecutive.
Oh, like growing up.
Yeah.
Like, you mean they might actually have been literally consecutive on the TV show schedule?
Oh, I don't know about, no, just like timeline-wise, when they were like peak popular back then,
Oh, got it.
But obviously Pokemon is still super popular and Power Rangers is less so nowadays.
Really? Damn, that's rough. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like, in theory, your child can grow up with Pokemon.
Yeah, she will.
It's not an if. It's not an if. It's happening.
I mean, they're gonna be around.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see like where, like if she goes more my route or Jingy's route. Or maybe hopefully both. That doesn't matter. Whatever she's into.
Honestly, best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I think like, I mean, it's like in some ways I'm very jealous of the next generation because they're gonna have like people like us as parents. Like
cool parents.
Much more accepting. Like Jane and I are very much around the, whatever she likes, like it's cool with us, right? And like we didn't have that as much.
Very true. Yes, many things were not okay.
Yeah, I want to pursue a career and whatever. Like art, music. It's cool. Like, do it and just do it well.
It's sick. You've ascended the like every generation you move up Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah.
You're at the pinnacle, bro. Peaking. It's awesome. Cool, man. So when we check out and wrap up episodes, usually we do it's like we just call it a checkout. There's two components to the checkout. One is like emotionally, like what's going on after the conversation, and then usually we assign it a magnitude out of 10, and then also like what you're taking away from the conversation is how we do it. So yeah, maybe I can go first.
Sure.
I think I'm feeling a lot of deep appreciation for your geekiness, which I think like when you find someone that is geeky the same way that you're geeky, it's just, there's like a soul resonance, that goes on there. Even that is actually anime imagery from the anime Soul Eater, where you have a partner and the way that you collaborate with your partner is your souls resonate together at the same frequency.
Oh,
and
sick.
the more that you're matched on frequency, the stronger you are. And I was like, yes, soul resonance. It's such a good idea. Anyway, yeah. So I'm appreciating that stuff. And the fact that you appreciate that, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is very cool to me. So yeah. And also obviously been very cool to like watch your journey. I think you're probably maybe the most like passion oriented person that I personally know, which I think is very inspiring because I think I definitely err on the side of, being a little too pragmatic sometimes. And I've been trying to lean into what do I want to do? And then giving myself kind of like the permission to really, kind of like you were saying early on in your journey, like give yourself the permission to just go explore and see what happens. So yeah, that's kind of top of mind for me. I guess that was a 2-in-1, both my takeaway and the emotional stuff. So yeah, do you want to go?
Yeah. I think I just feel a lot of warmth. You just feel like very at ease and definitely feel inspired as always just by like your wholehearted ownership of the things that you like and how it's just
unapologetic.
Exactly. That is exactly the word that he describes, the unapologetic joy that you find in these things. And it's not just like a secret thing where you're like, okay, I kind of like these things. You should be like, hey everyone, I like these things. You want to see them? Come check it out. And it's like you really welcome people into that.
Yeah.
And I think that the other thing that like I've always really appreciated about you is that you have that, but it's like you let it suffuse throughout your entire life, but you don't let it be your like sole purpose. So like, you're very pragmatic in other ways about like making sure that your life is still functional, making sure that you're still like highly capable organizing events. Like, I think that helps me somewhat separate these like stereotypes of people that are super into this and people that are like very socially unaware, very like closed off, very awkward. And he's like, no, like I am super into this stuff. Also, I'm a very competent person. And
can be well-rounded.
It's possible.
Yeah. It's just, I think about this idea a lot from math of like an existence proof where like sometimes to prove some idea, you say like, this exists, therefore it's possible. And I think in my mind, you're like an existence proof of just like fully owning your childhood wants while also being like an incredibly high functioning adult. So I'm feeling a lot of appreciation around that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel just, a lot of appreciation around getting to talk about this stuff with you guys and you guys appreciating this part of me because it wasn't always something that I felt comfortable putting out there. And it feels, really, really, I think, warm to know that there's people that appreciate this part of me. And I think it's just really nice to be able to explore these challenges that I've had and then still have with you guys. And, not just today, but in general as well, to understand myself better and then also understand you guys better, which makes me feel more connected. And I like that.
Thanks, man. I mean, we totally forgot about this, but you recently got on social media with literally, you were talking about putting yourself out there and like showing off like your flavor of geekiness, and you literally are on social media now. So like, how can people get a taste of that if they want to see what it's like.
Yeah. I started Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channel with just showing cool collectibles. And yeah, it was a little scary to start it, but I was like, screw it, I'll just do it. And it's Phil's Collectibles. I think Phil's Collectibles on TikTok and YouTube, and Phil's Collectibles _ on Instagram.
Nice.
Someone took it already. And yeah, it's just me showing cool stuff and cool collectibles I see and cool collectibles I have in anime and superheroes. And I've actually struggled a bit with, I think once you start creating content, there is this like energy of like, oh, I want more followers or I want more views. And I've had to also very consciously know why I'm doing it, which is more as a creative outlet, an expression. And so I've stuck to that versus trying to like necessarily grow them. And that's been hard, but I feel like clarifying that with myself constantly has helped me just like continue doing things I like and not doing it to, cover things I'm not necessarily interested, but it's hot and all that. So yeah, it's been fun. And like, yeah, if people want to check it out, feel free.
It's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely leave links in the show notes. So you guys can check it out. But yeah, thanks for coming on. It was great having you. I really appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we also appreciate you at home or wherever you're listening or watching this podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. Yeah, we'll catch you next time.